Hey everyone, so today we're going to make a fun little fall decor piece using a little pumpkin kit from Wholesale Decor and More. Lisa is great to work with, and her link to her site will be below this video, so be sure and check her out. So it comes with little leaves, a little crow, and then the little stand so it can stand up. So for starters, I'm just painting the leaves. Just a green by Folk Art, just a basic green, and now I'm going to use black by Folk Art, or Apple Barrel, excuse me, and paint the little crow, and I've got some little yellow that I will paint his beak. I'm just using foam makeup sponges instead of dirtying a bunch of paintbrushes. These seem to work real well for smaller items. However, I do use a small paintbrush when I do his beak here in a bit. So now I'm moving on to the pumpkin, and I'm putting a generous layer of Mod Podge all over it. Not the stem piece, just the pumpkin part. I'm going to Mod Podge some plaid fall paper, scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby. So you want to make sure you get all the corners and edges covered and everything covered with Mod Podge completely. And now I'm just drying all the pieces with my heating tool and making sure the Mod Podge is dry. And so here I am placing the pumpkin on top of the scrapbook paper. And I'm just going to use a pencil and trace it. So I'll just trace out that whole pumpkin, and then I'll just use my scissors to cut it out. So now I've set my paper on top of it and put some parchment paper over the top, and I'm using my little mini travel iron that I got on Amazon. And the link for this is below the video also. And then I just keep ironing it for, half a minute to a minute or so, just focusing on the edges and stuff too, and make sure the paper won't peel up. It looks cute already. So now I'm just sanding wherever the paper goes over the edge. I'm just making it a nice, smooth, finished edge. So I'll set that aside now. Now I'm using a little skewer from the Dollar Tree, and I've got this wired, it's kind of like paper-covered floral wire. And I'm just going round and round and round the skewer, and then I'll push it up, and then do it round and round and round, and then push it up. And then I just repeat that process until I have a whole bunch on my skewer. And then I can just use this for other projects as well as this one. So now I'm just grabbing the tail end of it's a thicker jute twine. I'm just going to go round and round the stem of the pumpkin. So I just hot glue it, and then I'll go around a few times and put a little more glue to secure it on there. And as I get closer to the top, I put a little bit more glue. And then especially on top, where I have to really kind of bend the twine back and forth and put it where I need it and want it to go. I just want the whole wood stem to be covered. Okay, so I've got that covered, and now I'm going to sand lightly my leaves and my little crow, just to define those edges a little bit and rough it up a little bit. I really like that distressed, worn look. I have to be careful on these leaves because they're just barely held together by a thin piece of wood, so I'm being careful to hold a piece as I'm sanding it. Now I just need to get a little bit of white paint on my little stylus that I bought at the Dollar Tree, and just make his little eye. And I just keep doing it a couple times till it's just a good size circle that I like. And as that is drying, I will work on some other things. So now I'm going to take my little paper wire things and just kind of spread it out, pull it out, and cut out off a length of 3 pieces that I'm going to use on my pumpkin. Using my wire cutters that work super great, and I got those on Amazon as well. Then I printed off this little tag. The link to my Etsy listing for this will be below. I have a whole bunch of fall sayings and like pumpkins and sayings and all kinds of things. So now I'm going to rough the tag up really well and then distress it with my Tim Holtz Distress Oxide. Really roughing up the edges and folding it and bending it, make it look old and used and worn. Just distressing all the edges of my tag. Making some bends on top and put some ink on top too. Now I'm just putting some thin jute twine through the hole, looping it through. Now I know I don't need that much, so I cut a bunch of it off. Try and decide exactly where I want it to lay. And I know I want it to go underneath those wooden leaves. So I'm just putting a little dab of glue there and use my pencil to kind of adhere it, and ended up pulling it up. Now I'm just going to glue those leaves right on top of the tag string. Now I'm just playing around and trying to decide where I want the little curly wires. So I just put them in a couple random spots. And I wanted the tag to hang at a little bit of an angle, so I'm just going to put a dot of glue there and set it where I want. Getting all those little glue strings off. And then I just need to put my crow on there. I think he's super cute. Now the last thing I need to do is to put the little stand on the back. And so I'm going to use a couple dots of E6000 for a permanent strong hold. And then of course my hot glue just for an instant hold. So you just put it right in the center there and hold it up and eyeball it. And then I'm going to do the same process, little E6000 and hot glue in that little center part that goes in the little slot. And I'm just holding it till it sets. And I think it looks so cute, and it sits up nice. It's a great little shelf sitter. Would look darling on a tiered tray. And I probably should have distressed the edges of the pumpkin before I glued everything on, but I wasn't thinking, but no worries. I was able to still do it. So, and if you don't like this look, then definitely don't do it. But I do like that weathered distressed look. And I appreciate you watching. I hope this inspires you to make something similar. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and please check out the links below the video, and thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Have a whimsical day.